All right, guys, thanks for tuning back in. Here we are, Super Lab Battle USA at Circuit City, America. We have Group 3, Session 2 lining up to go out. That is Group 3, Session 2 lining up to go out. Let's get a little recap of what's going on. We've had a full session, all 3 run groups. So far, we have 2 people competing for the fastest lap times. We have James Hooten in his K-Tune Levine Motorsports Acura Integra Type R running a 2:18.194. And then the surprise to some, but not the surprise to others, is Jensen Little in his NC Miata. Jensen is a local guy. He is from TK Racing. He has an NC Mazda MX-5. He has run a 1:18.334. He is a 0.15 off the fastest time here, and to me that didn't blow my mind. I did a lot of research on his car. That has got to be one of the coolest cars I've seen built by a privateer, but it is still a shock because James Hooten and his team, those guys are fighters. They have a lot of development in their car, and I honestly hope to see these guys fight it all the way to the end. I hope nothing happens between the two of them. We can see 2 days of extreme battles. Now what we're going to go out to here is Group 3, Session 2. Remember, guys, if you're new to this, if you have just started tuning in, we do everything based off speed index, okay? This isn't a classing system. We do have classes. We have enthusiast, street, limited, and unlimited, and I'll get into that a little bit later. But we have 4 classes here competing. There is no longer drivetrain subdivisions running in U.S. Time Attack that I know about. It used to be street front and street rear and street all, but now we have combined all of the subdivisions into that solo class. So that Acura Integra Type R in Unlimited is racing that Mazda MX-5 in Unlimited for the same podium spot. Here we are on the Group 3 Session 2 Hot Pit lineup. They'll be released any moment now, but before they go out, quick little recap. The fastest car in this session is that beautiful 6th gen Chevrolet Camaro. What is that? R stands for Race Racing. That is fantastic. Here we go, guys. This is Ravi, and We Don't Lift Performances Acura NSX. He's been around the States with us in the past. He's come and gone. Behind him is Jackie Ding. Jackie Ding has been making some waves in Time Attack. He was in Hoonigan's driver search. He did a great job on there, and in his naturally aspirated S2000 last year, he laid some impressive times. I do believe he's out here with Boost this year, but I will confirm that for you in a little bit. For those of you wondering, what we do is we send these cars out to the gap because they're on a speed index. The car behind should never actually catch up to the car ahead. It gives them a nice little space to run their fast lap, but it also makes sure that there's no aero rush. Some of these cars are heavily aero dependent, so if you get 2 cars too close to each other, even if the car in front is faster and pulling away, it's going to screw up the front aero of the car behind them, and it's just not going to get the grip they want. That's something I'm sure a lot of you don't see very often, a Prelude on the track. That car is developed as Corey was in his time was done. This is the Camaro I was talking about that has the fastest lap of this group. Street class Camaro. He's running in the 23s. Here's a vehicle that some people call a bastardization. I call it badass. The Hachiroku with a Honda S2000 engine. You just tuning in, if you're wondering what Time Attack is, if you watch racing, you would call this qualifying. The biggest difference between qualifying and Time Attack is when you qualify a race car, you qualify it in the setup that it's going to be racing in for the most part. So there's a lot of compromises. The car has to be set up to still run long stints and go fast. It's just trimmed out as much as possible. But in Time Attack, these cars are literally set up to find that one perfect lap. It's called that one perfect lap because we always strive for excellence, but everyone knows you'll never find it. Even if you go out there and you feel you killed it, there is time left on the table to be found. These are the last of the vehicles coming out here on track. This is again Group 3 Session 2. This is their 2nd session of the day. There'll be 4 sessions for each group each day. We'll go through these run groups and then we'll get you a little recap of what's going on. These guys will go out, probably run a 60-70% lap, try to get some heat into the tires, heat into the brakes, which at this point in time, guys, is difficult. It is cold out there, man. It's in the high 40s, low 50s right there. Anyone that's run their car on track knows, hey, if you have boost, the motor is happy. Even if you're naturally aspirated, the motor is happy because cold air is dense and dense air burns. But you can't push them too hard. The brakes can't stay up to temperature. So these guys have a lot on their hands. They have to push the car hard enough on the warm-up lap to make sure that they can start a hot lap, but they also have to push the car to the point where they make it. Down these S's, you have to take them perfect. You have to really ride those inside curves. But if you mess up the setup for those S's, you've basically messed up your lap. You can still push through, but a lot of these guys know, hey, I'm here to make sure that I do the best I can. You see a lot of cars mess up one section and slow down so they can save their equipment. That's what you call the epitome of an enthusiast class car. This car is driven here from Houston, Texas. He basically drove it here. It's a street car. He dailies it, and he's laying down some super impressive lap times. The big thing about this track is there is a good amount of elevation change. You can look up some track maps online that will actually show you elevation, and cameras just cannot do it justice. Turn 1 is uphill going down to turn 2. 2 to 6 is slightly downhill. That's from the right-hander 2 all the way through the S's is slightly downhill. Then you go all the way to 10, which is a blind turn right there with a down-up dip all the way to 11, which takes you to the front straight down the track. Then you crest up and over, and you can finally see where you're setting up for your braking and turning zone. The good thing about Circuit of America is this is the newest track in North America. It has been around for a little bit. It has had F1 races. It even had one F1 race in the V8 era. But this track was designed around famous tracks in the world. Turn 1 was inspired by a steep hill in Turin in Austria that was made very famous by F1 World Champion Nelson Piquet. Turn 2A is a downhill nod to the Senate S in Brazil. The 4 to 6 concept, the S's, is a roller coaster ride like Mackett's, Beckett, Chapel section in Silverstone. Anyone who watches F1 knows that section is very good for racing. Turn 10 is a blind turn. Turn 11 will get you speeds, depending on the vehicle, from anywhere from 140 to 170 miles an hour before you have to go hard brakes in the 12. 12 is similar to the storied stadium section in the Hockenheim in Germany. So the 12 complex is exactly like stadium. Straight and trying to get the fastest exit off of 20 to make sure you hit that start finish at the looks like the Hachi are all set. Right now, the fastest car on track is still that 6-string Chevrolet Camaro. He's running a 224, 127. He is in a limited class Camaro. It is a 6-string Camaro. It is a very, I would call, mild build. It's not crazy aero. He's basing it off 100% mechanical grip. Has some factory aero components on it, but nothing too wild put on there. Trying to see where everyone else lays. Fiona Liu has picked up some good times. 243, 146. A lot of you guys are used to seeing Fiona in her M3, but she showed up this weekend in an S2000. Very, very nice blue S2000 with her trademark Pikachu on the side. It's a good looking car. Jackie Ding has picked up some good time. He's at a 238.6. His first session, he did a 239, so he has picked up some time. See what Jackie did. 236, 298. Gonna be his fastest lap. Addy just did a 240. His NSX is still natural last year. He had a big plans for his car. He was going to go ahead and get him going. But the opportunity to race here at Circuit of America with Super Lap USA was just something he could not turn down. We do have a good mix of street class cars and enthusiast cars out here right now. It looks like the speed index in here is between 224 to 245. We do have Kim Chi, an enthusiast car. Sorry, Kimmy Chi, an enthusiast car, doing a 252. Corey Wells and Will Greaves in that Prelude just did a 238. That's his fastest time of the weekend right now. They pulled off a little early in the first session. They probably had to change a few things, make sure everything was good. That's the best part of Time Attack. If you don't feel like you're getting an optimal lap, you come back in, you make changes, you pull data, and you make sure everything is right. If you guys notice that G35, well, let's talk about Jason Owens real quick. This is Jason Owens in the USR Racing Civic type car. He does travel across the United States to compete in all time attack events that he possibly can. We've seen him at Road Atlanta, we've seen him in Jersey Park, we've seen him at Button Willow Raceway Park, and I'm pretty sure he's ran some grid life events also. But there is a car on track that we haven't seen in quite some time. That is Kevin Parlett in his BC Racing Infiniti G35. He spent a lot of time trying to make sure that program between him and Savannah go well, and it looks like he has finally got himself back into his car. That Street Class Subaru, number 434, driven by Ryan Payne and Zach Sober, just ran a 2:41.24, about 3 seconds off their fastest lap. They ran a 2:37.96 in this session. Behind him is Thomas Lee. Thomas is also trying to make as many time attack events as possible. This is his first event outside of California. He took his car named Maria all the way here to Texas to try and show the guys what he can do with not just a budget, but a car that is built within its means. Something you're going to notice here is every lap people are pushing a little further and a little further and a little harder. Through these S's, you'll see people go wider and push harder. The big thing about this is the S's are all about setup. Slight downhill. So if you're going a little too fast, it's hard to scrub that speed. You got Ravi right here. See, this is a beautiful line. It's hard to tell from a straight-on shot, but his exit right there on the final corner was clean. You'll see some cars go a little wider. Obviously, that's not too detrimental, but going wider means you're losing time, and losing time is the opposite of what you want to do here in Time Attack. Looks like we have Corey Wells and Will Drees' car right there at the pit exit. They did set a hot lap, that's what it is. We did a 2:32.895. They probably came in to check some data and then just something happened exiting the pit. I think that's pretty cool, guys. A naturally aspirated F20 and a Hachi keeping up with a boosted Subaru. The car obviously is very light, and as you can tell, he gets some good turning. He doesn't take it as wide as everyone else. He's cutting the amount of space he's traveling. If he can make the corner at the same speed as the car in front of him at a tighter angle, then he's definitely able to just cut some time out because you're cutting out the amount of space traveled. The big thing is about this is 80% of this track is setup. You take one corner, but you got to think about the two corners that follow. These S's are a big sign of that. Taking turn one, you got to make sure you're set up well for turn two, and turn two shoots you down the hill through the S's. That's Thomas Lee I was telling you about with his car Maria. See what kind of lap time he just laid down. Did a 2:47, so his fastest lap was 2:41.64. Very impressive for the Honda Civic SI. He has run in a street class for a little bit in GTA. He's trying to step it up. I'm pretty sure we'll see him come back next year with some serious power mods. He's told me himself he really wants to get that thing going. We still have Scott Dolehite and Jason Dent fastest in this session. They've actually gone faster every single lap. They're on lap 4, but 2:24.127 is the time that they've run. That's going to be the fastest of this run group. Ravi just did a 2:36.177. That's going to be his fastest time. Got himself out of the 40s significantly. I think the craziest thing about Ravi is he is another privateer player. He has a great car. People see an NSX on track and think that that must be some big budget team, but Ravi built that car himself. He also runs a safety shop. It's a race safety shop called We Don't Lift Performance. He sells all forms of safety equipment, but just doesn't sell them. He gives you the best advice possible. If you're trying to build a race car and you want something that's going to not only work for your vehicle, but give you the safety needed inside your budget, companies like him are what keep this sport going. Another thing we've been seeing a lot more of in Time Attack in North America is American vehicles. Time Attack initially was just imports because the Time Attack scene came from Japan. So all the guys that knew about Time Attack are into Japanese cars already. But as the years have come, we've seen a lot more Mustangs, a lot more Camaros. We have a Chevrolet Corvette Z06. It's a C6 Z06. Very well-built car here right now. We've also seen a lot of German cars. More and more Porsches are making their way to Time Attack events. And it's definitely helping us not only grow the sport, but get better optics. Time Attack used to be viewed as a group of guys that kind of just want to go out and qualify, but as people have really noticed is the quality of these builds is incredible. Time trials in the US have been a thing going on for a while, but time trial cars are not built to this level. They're not built to be extreme like this. They're built to go out and still run 10, 15 laps at a time just in their classing. Where Time Attack cars, if you only get one lap in a session, but that lap is the optimum lap, then you are happy. I really like what they did with that NSX. They changed the entire livery on the car at the end of last season, and, you know, of course, they got some blowback. People are always going to be like, oh, why did you paint your NSX pink? But it really pops on track, really makes it easy to see, and biggest thing is optics are everything. No one wants a black car with black wheels on the track just looking terrible. This is that triple apex right-hander. That's probably one of the hardest tracks to pick up. I want to thank everyone on our live stream, by the way, guys. We know a lot of you guys wanted to make it. We know that this event may have come up too quick for some of you guys, but just remember, this is what we call the inaugural event. This is something that we plan on making sure you see every year. We're going to grow this. We're going to make this something where if you can make it, we will make sure you have a place to go. For you guys following us on Facebook, I want to thank y'all for not only all your positive comments, but for taking your time, giving us feedback, and thanking us for the quality of our feed. This is something we wanted to make sure went out to the masses. Here's Ravi bringing his NSX in. Looks like he got the laps he wanted. The biggest thing about Time Attack that some of you may not know is it's literally about pulling data, making minute changes just to go back out there and go fast. I'm sure a lot of you guys have been out there to a track day and you go out and you have a good time and you pick up a little time here and there. These guys have spent weeks, months, some people years setting their cars up to go fast on one lap. They pull every bit of data they can. They change tire pressures, they change alignments, they change aero settings. To these guys, everything is all about making that one fast lap. It still looks like Jason Dent in that blue 6th-gen Camaro is the fastest on track right now. We've had some improvements. Nick Steniford in a 239. He ran a 241 in his first session. That is a naturally aspirated bolt-on car. I'm sure it has a tune, a bolt-on. He definitely put a lot of work into it in the offseason, but he may have a coolant leak or he may have an oil leak. We got smoke coming out of the back. We got smoke coming out of the back of Nick Steniford's car. He is off track now. There he is. So it looks like we had a little bit of smoke. I don't know if maybe he's got an oil leak or maybe that's coolant. Yeah, look, he is still smoking. That looks like coolant to me. Looks like he caught it, though. He's definitely slowing down. He's going to try and get himself in. Like I was telling you before he started smoking hard, Nick put a lot of time in the offseason. He built a brand new cage to that car, painted it, put a new body on it. Those wheels are gorgeous, and he towed here all the way from Colorado. There's a good chance if you follow Time Attack, you've heard of Nick. He makes every event physically possible. I met him at Road Atlanta last year, and he was there in his S15. He has a beautiful, legit S15 imported, and he was tracking that car. In the first lap of the first session, he blew the motor on his car. But he found someone with an R32 Skyline to let him borrow it, and he ran that whole event in the Skyline. You figured something like that would push him back? You figured he'd be like, oh, man, I got to fix my car. What'd he do? He decided to pull his S2000 out. Decided, hey, well, if my S15's broken, S2000. He makes every event in the country, guys. I have seen this man go from Colorado to every state that runs a Time Attack. He runs in Global Time Attack. He runs in Grid Life. He runs in local NASA time trials. This guy is literally lives, breathes, eats Time Attack, and I have never met such a committed human being. My thing is, I guarantee you in 2 to 3 years, Nick's going to be playing with the big dogs. He has so much love for this sport. Looks like this session has been checker flag, guys. That means anyone on a flyer that wants to finish their lap can go finish it, and then we'll go to Group 2, Session 2. Looks like Group 2, Session 2. Those guys will be lining up in the hot pits right now, and they'll go live in about 5 minutes. All right, guys, so here we have Group 2, Session 2 lining up. We just finished with Group 3. Once again, that beautiful 6th Gen Camaro finished on top of that session. Group 2, Session 2 is about to go out. That's going to consist of mainly high street and limited cars. We do, once again, split this up based on speed index. So if you want to know what speed index means, it means I don't give a damn what kind of car you're in. I don't care what class you're in. We put them together based on lap times. So if you're running a consistent lap time with someone else, then they're going to put you guys close to each other to make sure no one impedes anyone else's lap. We also release them with a little bit of gap. So in theory, and we're always going to say in theory because, you know, theory and practice are never the same. When we release you, you should get 2 plus at least 2 hot laps without any impedance. Now, if someone goes off during the warm-up lap, which has been happening, it's very cold outside, and anyone who's tried to push their tires in the cold will tell you the grip is not there. But we want them to be able to get as much free lap time as possible. We're trying to make sure these guys can set their one fast lap. That's what they traveled here for. Everyone wants the glory. The best part about this is there really is no participation trophies. You have to push your car. You have to push yourself. You got to push your team's limits to make sure that you can go out there and you can get what you need. So this is Group 2, Session 2 lining up. They will be going hot soon. They're just clearing the track of the Group 3 guys. And it looks like we just have a couple more cars coming to the hot pit. So as soon as we go live, we'll let you guys watch them going out. And then they will start their warm-up laps and then their hot laps. We'll see what kind of times we get out of these guys now. All right, guys, we should be mere moments away from these cars going out. Per the schedule, they're ready to go out right now, but can't release until you make sure track is clean, track is clear, and that there's no other issues. Here we go, guys. Here we go. It does look like there was a car still on track. There was a car still on track. I'm not sure which vehicle it was. I don't know if we have the best angle to catch it, but it looks like they may have already pulled it off. It's very odd for us to run behind, but at the end of the day, this is a world-class facility with world-class crew, and they're not only going to make sure that that driver is ready to go and safe, but they're going to make sure the track is safe for everyone else that's coming out. That's one of the advantages of not only being here, but being sanctioned by SCCA Pro Racing. We are an SCCA Pro affiliate. If you want to get into Super Lap Battle USA, all the drivers here have an SCCA Pro license specifically for time trials. If you want to be able to get into this, obviously not SCCA is not in every single region. So we do take into account other experiences. But if you want to get from beginning to end, I would reach out to your local SCCA chapter and get into time trial racing. Time trials literally range from every single bone stock vehicle all the way to the craziest car you can build. So it's a good place for you not only to get started, but talk to other people, see where they're at, see how long they've progressed. Because I know how difficult it is to look at this live feed and I wonder how long it took those guys to get there. People like me, I've been following this for 10, 12 years. I know how long it took these guys to get here. But you as an average guy, you don't know that Cole Powelson and Kyle Schick spent years building that car in that program. You don't know that Jackie Ding in his S2000 spent years driving in Formula 4 before he had enough experience to think, hey, I'm going to get into this S2000 and I'm going to make sure that I can go fast. You don't know how hard people like Marcos and Sally have pushed their programs to make sure they could go from some of the just regular guys to being some of the most well-known people. So if you want to get out here, if you want to run with us, don't think it's unachievable or unattainable. All these guys started somewhere, and you can start somewhere too. What you guys are watching right now, if you were wondering, is they're using what's called oil dry. So if I'm not mistaken, this is going to be from Nick's S2000. When he was blowing some smoke out of the back of the vehicle, he may have laid some fluid on track. So the track officials have to make sure that that fluid does not in any way affect someone else. It's really easy to go over a little tiny patch of oil, lose it, and wad your car up. So the last thing we want to do is something like that. So they're going to go around the track. They're going to make sure that the track is safe, and then they're going to release the cars. As you guys can see, it looks like that oil spill was a little bit more intricate than we expected. I am unsure if Nick knew how bad it was when he kept trying to get back to the pit, because they are definitely going to have to clean that entire line he drove on. So what they did is they put a little bit of oil spill on the big pieces, and then they literally had to drive a truck behind to lay oil dry everywhere. Now, the good thing about a facility like this is it's not just oil dry. If you go to your local HPDE track, when they lay oil dry, you have to drive over it afterwards, which is not bad. It's not that slick, but you still have to drive over it. Here, they lay the oil dry, and then they run a machine over it to clean it all up. So it's going to be as clean and as smooth as possible. It just puts us a little behind, but it's much better to have a safe track than it is to have a track that's dangerous. as you guys can see, they definitely have a lot of track to clean up right now. We figure it's about 5 to 10 more minutes minimum before they can get these guys back on track, but that's a lot of bags of oil dry they're using right now. See this truck hit this apex right here? You should take some notes, guys. That truck hit that apex. Nice. Here we have Cody Miles' Airlift Performance Subaru STI with the WWLC Network Umbrella Girl. This is something you will still always see at Time Attack events. Good-looking cars, good-looking women. Hi, nice to see you too. Oh my goodness. We were hoping that it'd get warmer here, guys, but as you can tell from the shot down the front straight, that is fog. We got fog rolling in. It's going to get colder. I mean, people with Boost are going to be super happy, but then they're going to be really upset. If you guys didn't know, this is not just a Time Attack event, by the way. We do have some drift demos. We have Sierra cars over here, and yes, they're the Sierra cars, not like the Sierra Evo. We have Sierra cars that are rallycross style cars. They can be made for grip or dirt. We also have a car show going on, and we have basically anything and everything for a car enthusiast. So we have Time Attack, we have drift demos. These guys are giving ride-alongs. I believe, ooh, little spin out. He got a little too happy there. I believe for $150 you can drive a Sierra car, which is worth every dime. Those are probably one of the coolest cars you will ever see. If you don't know what a Sierra car is, guys, go ahead and check it out. It does look like right now the people are leaving the hot pit. I'm not sure because, oh, you know what, guys? It looks like it's because they're cleaning the backside. They're cleaning every bit of oil that has spilled, guys. Every bit of oil that has spilled. So being a world-class facility, they're definitely going to do this. They're going to make sure it's good. I'm sure they're going to have a quick little talk with Mr. Nick to make sure he knows what happened and what he shouldn't do ever again. I'd still like to thank all you guys that are out there watching with us right now. I know this is probably the most boring part of our feed. No one ever wants to sit around and watch cars get cleaned up. I do want to shoot a happy birthday out there to Lily Tang. I do agree with you. This is a little slow, but don't worry. We'll get these cars back on track. We'll make sure you have a good time, especially that car right there. That car called Sydney. I know some of you people got confused. We're not in Sydney, guys. The car is named Sydney. This belongs to Life Motorsports, being driven by Cole Powelson. Probably one of my favorite personal guys. Good to talk to, runs a shop, super fun, and he lives and breathes this. So anybody and everybody who's out here working their butts off to make sure they can have a good time and go fast, we really love those guys. So in case you guys were wondering, that is Kyle Powderford's GTR34. He is missing a rear bumper. There was a little incident between him and Ulrich Zerka. The Miata you saw come in with damage to the front right corner, he made some contact with Mr. Paddleford. I believe it was a miscommunication of body language on the vehicle. I know that sounds dumb, body language on the vehicle, but when you've been on track or even on the freeway, you know someone's going to change lanes before they use a blinker. Ulrich thought he had the room. Kyle was just setting up for a corner, and it was just kind of boom, little miscommunication. Luckily, no serious damage to Kyle. I know Ulrich's team is working their butt off to try and get that car back out, so we'll see if we can see both of them back out there laying down some fast lap times.
Check one, check two. How you doing? Check one, check two. Check one, check two. Can you guys hear us down there in the garages? Can I get a thumbs up? All right, I think it's working, guys. Sorry about that. We had a delay. There was an oil down on the track. Sorry that caused us to have to push back and rearrange the schedule. Yes, on Group 2 and Group 1, we're going to have to make you guys up after lunch. We're working on the schedule right now. Stay tuned for updates. Basically, once noon hits, it'll be our lunch break from 12 to 1. Come 1 o'clock, we're going to jump back.
Just so you guys know, we're not just feeding for you guys. Everyone here at the track has full coverage of the Jumbotron. We've got 3 or 4 Jumbotrons. We have 5 or 6 cameras out here trying to give you the best coverage possible. We could follow 95% of a lap. It looks like we have one little blind spot, but everyone I've talked to so far says this is the best private feed they've ever seen at this track, and I want to thank you guys for that.
Check, check. Picks it up. Picks it up. Check 1, 2, check 1, 2, check 1, 2.
Thank you for staying patient out there, guys. We are trying to get this resolved as quickly as possible. Sadly, there is no quick way to clean up a track safely, and putting people out there on a slick track is just not worth it. So as soon as we're able to have some time on track and able to give you some better views, we will. Until then, thanks for tuning in, guys, and we'll get it to you when we can.
Check 1, 2.
Hey guys, thanks for waiting so patiently. Sadly enough, track officials have told us there was enough oil laid down that they have to do a full cleanup. It was a big enough spill, so it looks like we're not going to go live again until after lunch. We'll be live at 1 p.m., okay? 1 p.m. Texas time, we will be live. So thanks for sticking with us. Catch us around 1 o'clock, and we'll be back with what looks like Group 4. Group 4 are the TCA cars that are competing, so if you want to get back to the time attack, we'll be back at 1:25.